Hey guys, so let's practice doing the domain and range a little bit. That's for the rest of today. And then next class we'll start the X and Y intercepts. So remember domain and, well, just the domain. The domain goes left to right. So if you're looking at the domain, you need to remember to look left to right. So here we are. With this object here, the furthest left is right here, and the furthest right would be here. Domain is on the x-axis. So it's going to be a compound inequality. I'm going to put less than or equal to, less than or equal to with x in the middle. And then it's at, here's 0, 0. It will be -1, -2, -3. So -3 for my lower number, and then 1, starting at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the upper number. Okay, and that's the range for domain. Okay, now if I'm looking at the range, I'm going up and down. So that would be starting at the Y. All right, so for range, I'm going to go from bottom to top. All right, so here's my domain, left and right, and then my range goes from bottom to top. So my range here is going to be 1, 2. It would be -2. Is less than or equal to y, because I'm talking about the range, which is less than or equal to, and then the biggest y would be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for those first four, we'll do both domain and range, and then we will just switch to domain. Okay, so this says the domain, so I'm going to go left to right, so go up to the x-axis, and that would be 1, 2, 3, so -3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to, and if you go up, that would be 2. And then the bottom y value is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be -5 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to -1. Okay, and then here for the domain, I'm going to look at left and right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 1, 2, 3. And then the range is going to be bottom to top. So I'm looking at -2, 1, 2, less than or equal to y, less than or equal to 1, 2, 3, +3. Okay, now for this line segment, again, that's continuous, so it's going to be a range, and I'm looking at domain, so I'm looking at the x values. So x is going to be in the middle of, this would be -2, and this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, +4. And this x value, this domain, is going to be from -1, 2, 3 up to -1. And this domain is going to be from -3, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to, and then if I hop over 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I have a parabola or an absolute value there, and I'm looking at domain, I'm looking at the left and right. So I'm looking at these arrows. It goes forever to the left and forever to the right. Okay, all of these go forever left and forever right. Okay, so the domain for all of these is going to be all real numbers. Okay, it goes forever left and forever right. If I have a parabola, or this is my parabola, this is my absolute value if it's a V. Okay, very good. So now we're looking at, oh, actually, let me make sure I did all those. Okay, so that's the bottom of that page. Okay, so now if we're looking at the lines that go left, and again, you're looking at the ends. Okay, so the end goes forever to the left. So it would be all real numbers. Now here, this line is vertical, right? This is a horizontal line. So it goes forever to the left and right. This is a vertical line. All right, so it goes up and down forever. It only crosses the X one time. And the only X value it has is -3. So X equals -3, that's the domain. Okay. This horizontal line, yes, it is a function because my vertical lines cross, right, only one time. A vertical line is not a function because there are a lot of repeating X values, okay? Anytime you have a vertical line, that means it's not a function. So over here, it goes left and right forever at an angle. So that would mean all real numbers. Again, left and right at an angle. So my domain is all real numbers. Now, if it's points, all right, it's discrete, okay? I have this point, and this point. So that means I have 3 X values in my domain. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, so -4. This one is on the y-axis, right? So I didn't go left and right, so that would be 0. And then this one would be 2. Okay. And then now this one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 points, okay? And none of them have the same X value. So just like over here, yes, this is a function because my X doesn't repeat. Yes, this is a function because my X doesn't repeat. And so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -6. This X value is -2. This X value, if I look down here, there's this has an X value of -2. This has an X value of 1. And this has an X value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, when we're looking at the domain, we're looking at the X axis. So same thing here. All right, we'll do blue. 1, 2, 3. And the X's don't repeat, so yes, it is a function. And what are the X values? Let me go to the X axis, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, so -4. This would be a +1, and this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be a +5 for my domain. So if I'm not given the graph, I need to use Desmos and to look at what my domain is going to be, all right? So let me pause this for a second. Okay, so I've got y equals 2x minus 5. All right, and you can see that that is a line, okay? So it goes forever to the left and forever to the right. So that would be all real numbers. Oops. right, and if I do 1/2 x, let me just make this a 1/2 x. So I'll do 1 divided by 2. Oops. So 1/2 x, that just made it, just change the angle, all right? And then if I actually make it a +3, that just moved it up 3. So it's still just a line, right? So that would be all real numbers. So anytime you have f of x, you can just make that a y. Remember, f of x and y are the same thing. All right, so it's just easier in Desmos just to always put y, to me, I think. And then now I've got this polynomial, so I'll put that in. So I've got y equals x, I'll come down here and do squared minus x minus 6. And there is your parabola, right? So there's my parabola, and so it has a, it goes forever to the left and it goes forever to the right. So that is also going to be all real numbers for the domain. Okay, now on this side, we're doing the same thing, but we're going to do the range. So we're going to go from bottom to top. So I'm going to look at, right, so there's the bottom and there's the top. So my range is going to, and it's continuous, right, because I have this solid line here, right? So I'm going to put the y in the middle. That's my fridge. I swear, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So -5 for the y, and then this would be +1 for my range. All right, and then this range is going to be, you go from bottom to top, so that would be, again, it's range, right? So we're looking at the y-axis, so -2 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 1, 2, 3. All right, and then here now we've got the circle. It doesn't matter, I'm still going from bottom to top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to -1. And here I've got these. So -2, less than or equal to y, less than or equal to +3. Now, a line segment is the same idea, right? It's continuous. So it has a bottom y and a top y. So again, range is y, so it's in the middle of +1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. And then here's my range. So it's y's in the middle of, and I'm looking at the y-axis, and I'm going to go from the bottom, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, so -4, and then 1, 2, +2. All right, so let's change our color here. So blue, and again I've got y. So 1, 2, so -2 is less than or equal to y, and y is less than or equal to 1, 2, 3. Now, if I have a parabola, which is this U shape here, it has a bottom, right? But it goes up to infinity. It goes up forever. All right, so it is going to be an inequality, but it's not all real numbers because it has a bottom number, right? It only goes down to -2. So it's still range, so I'm going to say y. If it goes up forever, These are my bigger numbers, right? As you go up, so it's y is greater than or equal to -2. And then here I have this one is my absolute value, okay, with the v. And so it has a top. So the bottom goes down, right, to -infinity. Okay, it goes down forever. So that means I'm still talking about y's, but if I'm going down, right, that would be y's that are less than 1, 2, 3. Y's that are less than or equal to 3. This is a parabola because it kind of has a little curve here. So that's a parabola. That's that word right there, parabola. And so it has a top number and it goes down forever. So it's going to be a less than, or, right, or equal to. And y is, we're talking about range. So y is less than or equal to, what's this top number? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now lines are also continuous, so you're going to have an inequality. Now, we're talking about range, so I'm talking about the y, so it only has one, all these points only have one y, or excuse me, there's only, the x's don't repeat, all right? So this is a function, right? Remember, this is a horizontal line, and it is a function because the x's don't repeat. Every x value has only one y value, okay? And that one y value is the range. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Y is always 4. Every point on this horizontal line has a y coordinate of 4. As opposed to this line, remember this line going up and down is vertical. This is a vertical line, so no, it is not a function because this x value repeats, okay? If I put a -3 in, I get a 0 out. -3 in and a 1 out. -3 in, a 2 out. Okay, it's like a vending machine. You press the button and you never know what is going to come out. Snickers, Doritos, potato chips, anything. Okay, the X's repeat. And so it has, the Y is all real numbers, okay, because it goes down forever and it goes up forever. So the range is all real numbers. Now notice, this also goes down forever and it goes up forever, okay? This is a function because the x's don't repeat, all right? If I draw these vertical lines, they only cross one time. Each point has a different x value. All right, so this is a function. The range is all real numbers because it goes down forever and it goes up forever. I guess that is not a good arrow. All right, maybe I'll just use the pen. Okay, it's going down forever and it's going to go up forever. So the range is all real numbers. Also the domain is, right? It goes left forever and it goes right forever. But remember, we're only looking at range. So range, this is going to go up forever and it's going to go down forever. So that would also be all real numbers for the range. Okay, and now I have these points. They are discrete, right? So I'm looking at the range, so I'm looking at my y values. So I'm going to come over here and see what the y coordinates would be for these points. So I have a set here. I'm going to start at the bottom because I'm doing range. So let's see, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4 is my lowest y value. This y value would be 2, and this y value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is, it's, if you have discrete points, you're going to have like a list of numbers. So here again, I have these discrete points. Okay, the x's don't repeat, so yes, this is a function. Let's see, what are the y values? That y value, that y coordinate is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, so -4. This y value is going to be 0. This y value would be a +2, and this y value would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if I'm doing the range, I'm looking at the y-axis. So again, I'm doing the range, so I'm looking at the y-axis. So what are the y coordinates of these points? Let's see, this y coordinate would be 1, 2, so it's -2. This y coordinate is 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This y coordinate is a 6. All right, so now we want to look at the range of these points here. So I've already got this one in here, so maybe I'll do this range first, right? Y equals x squared minus x minus 6. That was a parabola, right? It makes that U shape like a smile. So it has a bottom y coordinate there, right? If I look at this point right here, that bottom point is negative, and you can see the y coordinate, all right, is -6.25. Okay, remember the x coordinate is first, so the x coordinate is 0.5, and the y coordinate is -6.25. So if I'm looking at the range, I'm going to put the y coordinate, which is -6.25. Oh, and it goes up, right? So that's the bottom. And is it going to be all the y's greater than that, or all the y's less than that? So it goes up, so it's going to be y is greater than or equal to -6.25. Okay, and then now these two were lines, remember? So if I have a line, right, if I type in y equals, and you should be doing this too, so you get better at typing in these functions because it makes it so easy, right? If I look in here, I can zoom out and I can see this is a line, right? It goes forever down and forever up. So my range is all real numbers. Just like the domain was all real, so is the range. Okay, and then if I change this 2 to a 1/2, all that does is make it a little flatter, right? And if I make that a +3, it just kind of moves it up a little bit on the y-axis. Click home, that house, I can kind of zoom in on it and see. And it goes down forever and up forever. So my range is going to be all real numbers. Okay. So when your exponent here, if you have x to the first power, right, x all by itself, that's going to be a line, right? And so that tells you it's going to be all real numbers, all real numbers. If you have x squared, right, that tells you it's going to be a parabola. And so it's either going to be a greater than or less than. So this one was like this, right? So that was a greater than, right? A smiley face is going to be a greater than. A frowny face is going to be a less than. Okay, and that is your practice with domain and range. And now we're just talking about functions, if something is a function or not. And we've talked about that a little bit. So hopefully this will be a review. I'll stop this video so you have two short videos instead of one big long one.